What's up, guys? This is Joe with the first episode of Sports Talk. I'm joined with a very special guest of mine, my neighbor, Josh Johnson. Say what's up, Josh.
What's up? I'm Josh. I go to Sacred Heart. I'm a criminal justice major.
What do you do here at Sacred Heart?
I play club baseball here. I watch a lot of sports in my free time. Played sports my whole life, so yeah.
So yeah, me and Josh are very close when it comes to sports. We're very big sports fans, so we really bond over that. So today, we were going to talk about the NFL playoffs, as they were really surprisingly exciting, I believe.
Yeah, every game came down to field goal basically, except the Steelers game. Every game was close. Both number one seeds in both conferences got knocked out. Unfortunately, my Green Bay Packers were one of them. And there's, a lot of questions going into the future of them and the Titans, obviously. I mean, I don't think they were really, that great. I mean, they had Derrick Henry. He got hurt. He came back for the game. And it was still a close game against the Bengals, but it ultimately came down to who had the ball last.
Yeah.
And it ended with a field goal.
Yeah, well...
we also learned a lot about the overtime rules and how that, really screws teams over, like the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the rules, so...
Yeah, but... I don't know. Maybe they should change them. Maybe they shouldn't. But
coming down to a coin flip is a little bit...
Yeah, it's a little stupid.
Yeah, you work that hard the whole... I get where they're coming from, where Josh Allen's coming from. You work that hard the whole entire season to get to that point, and then to have it come down to a 50-50 coin flip.
Yeah, it's just out of your control.
Especially in a game, that Chiefs-Bills game was ridiculous. I mean,
that was so crazy. I can't.
The scoring, so if it comes down to that, you work that hard the whole entire season, the whole entire game, and, to be that close and to have, you losing a field goal, a coin flip, at that point, it's, all right. At that point, the defenses weren't stopping them, so.
No, yeah. The Chiefs were rolling at that point, and I actually saw last night, I was watching SportsCenter, and it was there was 25 points scored in the final 2 minutes of that game.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
that was just so crazy.
That was probably one of the best playoff games
ever.
Yeah.
I was saying that to myself. I was like...
It could, yeah. I mean, arguably, ever. But, just very good. I mean, they're probably one of the best, I would say, within the last 20 years.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, there were some, besides that, there were some really good games. I mean, Brady, obviously, who just retired. I mean, he had a couple really good...
Yeah.
A lot of really good playoff games, coming back, the Falcons
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
That was insane, but, that Chiefs-Bills game was definitely wild.
No, yeah, and even though my Giants were not in the playoffs, usually when the playoffs roll around, I just go with the Chiefs. I love Patrick Mahomes. We have the same birthday, so that's really why.
Yeah, I guess. I was rooting for the Bengals in the Bengals-Chiefs game, but, yeah, I mean, that's the thing when your team is out, you're trying to go with a team to root for, or, if you don't have a particular team to root for, you just root for a good game, you don't want to watch a blowout game.
No.
No,
yeah,
even
and then...
in the regular season, the primetime games where, there was one, it was, I think, week 16 or 17, Vikings-Packers. I mean, it was a great game, the Packers blew the Vikings out, but if I'm not a fan of either of those two teams, if I'm not a Packers fan, I'm not, if you're not a Packers fan, you're not enjoying that game. That's why, and on paper it's a good matchup, but the Vikings were really weak this year, so that's also another thing that the NFL tries to do is have really good matchups. So.
Yeah, well, I actually was posting all Chief stuff and on my Instagram story and stuff, and I think it was 21-3, the Chiefs game at one point, and I was like, no, it's over. There's no way these young Bengals come back against this powerhouse.
The offense just wasn't doing anything, and I mean, give credit to the Bengals defense. They played well that second half.
No, yeah, they really locked it down.
It really was just a combination of that and the Chiefs' offense just not being able to, figure things out, and that's what happens. I mean, you have those teams where, you come out of the locker room either, really slow, second half, or it's the other way around. I mean, the best example of this was, it wasn't an NFL game, but it was my cousin's high school football team, first round of the playoffs. They were losing. They were the 1 seed. They were playing like the 8 seed.
Mm-hmm.
They were losing like 10-3 going into the locker room at halftime, and they came out and they put up, like 38 points. It was ridiculous.
That's crazy.
But they just weren't, the first half, they couldn't get the stops on defense. I mean, they were, but their offense just wasn't clicking,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the other team only put up 10 points, and, everyone's getting like, oh, if we lose this game, it could, go down as like a really big upset in, Long Island football history. But, like, it was 10-3 game, you score one, after the break, it's, tied up. But no, they just rolled right around along like they should have. So, yeah, that's what happens. The Chiefs obviously were favored in that game, and they didn't, they didn't do it.
No, yeah, I didn't. Once the Chiefs lost, I was like, no, I don't want these Bengals to win. They knocked out my Chiefs, and then I also wanted to see my boy, Odell, get his ring. I was telling you, that's the only reason why.
Yeah, I mean, that sucks that he tore his ACL.
No, it's so terrible.
That's
Again.
terrible. I mean, that's ridiculous. Tearing same one twice, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess, good for him. I'm not really a huge fan of his. But yeah, I guess good for him. Good for Stafford too. I mean,
And Cooper Kupp carried me in
Kupp,
fantasy this year.
Yeah, and not even just the whole fantasy side and the sports betting side of it. Just like good for their careers too.
No, Aaron Donald too.
Yeah, Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, which I think Aaron Donald is coming back. I think.
Yeah, I'm happy about
good
that.
Because, I mean, he's one of my favorite players. He's been one of my favorite players for a while. But it's also good for them. Just because like they've been around for a while. Same thing with Stafford. I mean, this is his first year with the Rams, but the Lions, he never really got a shot, and
No,
I mean, he
not even
showed
close.
that this year especially he got a lot of attention because they're a really good team. He showed that hey, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Very underrated before this year.
No, yeah, totally. But he did have a big interception problem this year, which he was tied with the most, I think, with Trevor Lawrence with 17.
Yeah, I guess, they didn't really have a great running game.
He did have to throw the ball a lot, so that's true.
Yeah, I mean, like, Cam Akers got hurt. He was their number one back. He got hurt, came back, wasn't really great, especially when you have, 3 or 4 really good receivers, like, Kupp, Robert Woods.
Yeah, then he went down, yeah.
It's...
They had Deshaun Jackson at one point, too.
Yeah, I mean, when you have those good receivers, it's like, at that point, and you have no running game, at that point, it's like Higbee, too, the tight end.
Yeah, it's Van Jefferson, so they're just loaded.
Yeah, so at that point, it's like, yeah, throw the ball,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even Darrell Henderson out of the backfield. He had some good games. They traded for Sony Michel, but it just wasn't enough.
No, that's especially, Michel's been around a while. He's okay. I don't think he's anything insane.
No.
But, yeah.
When you were talking about that you're not a fan of Odell, made me think we were in 8th grade where the Packers and Giants played in the playoffs. And you guys absolutely dismantled us.
Well, and that's like, I think the Giants, I don't think had a great team that year. They were a wild card team. They were the last seed.
Yeah, they had a good defense. That was it.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. But their offense stunk. I mean, they had Victor Cruz and
Odell.
That was really it.
Yeah, that was literally it.
They didn't have. I don't think they had Shepard at that.
They didn't have Shepard. Oh no, they did.
Oh, they did.
They did. He was on the boat picture.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
But not even that. It's just they didn't have an offensive line, and that's what a lot of Giants fans I think get pissed off about was they didn't really build up the offensive line around Eli.
No.
They could have really gotten another 2 years out of Eli if they really wanted to. If they had any type of an offensive line, they had worse than the Bengals offensive line.
Yeah.
Eli's last few seasons, and that all has to do with drafting. And I know you're a huge Saquon guy. I don't think they should have taken Saquon with the second pick.
Well, now looking at it, it's like but
it's
at
just,
the
time you don't draft a running back that
second.
high. You never because the thing is with running backs is it's such a wear and tear position where it's you're getting a handoff and just running through 300-pound offensive linemen,
Mhm.
40 times a game, you know. You get 30 carries, 25 carries. It's a lot. Like especially a
Yeah.
team like the Giants, they want to use Saquon because he's a good running back.
Yeah,
But
but he's never on the field anymore.
well, that's the problem. And I think you look it up. It's like average prime for a running back. It's like 4 to 5 years. It's like they're really good, and then after it, like Todd Gurley is a perfect example of that. When he was really good with the Rams, he had 6 good years.
And then his knee.
Yeah, I mean, a guy like Frank Gore, I mean, is not that's not average.
Yeah, it's
Frank
true.
Gore was able to play late into his 30s as a really good running back.
I mean, even Adrian Peterson had
mean,
that.
Yeah, although
At that time,
yeah.
he won freaking MVP as a running back.
Yeah.
That's just doesn't happen anymore.
He's been in some hot water recently for some stuff. Which,
yeah.
He's that's been a part of his life, and it's unfortunate, but.
Yeah, but he had that big stretch, and then he's just
a while where he was good, but that's why you try to. Yeah, but that Giants team, I mean, they just were not. That was their last year in the playoffs, right? It was the 2016 season.
Yeah.
2017 season.
So hopefully trying with our draft picks to get back.
Yeah, they got some good picks. I mean, the draft is no guarantee, but you could definitely build around Daniel Jones with decent draft picks, and I think they're fine in the cap. Really, I mean, with cap room and stuff like that.
They're all right. They're not.
I mean, they're better than Green Bay.
That's true.
I mean, they're not as good as the Jets. I think the Jets have
Jets have a lot. Yeah.
Cap space, which is, I mean, great for them.
They
try to re-sign Barrios, get maybe an offensive lineman, get maybe another receiver.
Maybe a tight end. Maybe Schultz from the Cowboys.
I mean, that team is looking. I mean, if Zach Wilson is able to build off of the last 5 games that he played,
yeah, definitely.
After coming back from his injury, I mean, he was lights out basically. He threw no picks. Had I think every game was 150 plus yards throwing, rushing really good. And Barrios was a huge part of that. He really went off the last couple weeks of the season, enough to get him a first team All Pro, special teams, and being one of the better receivers for the second half of the season. I mean, that team, they're looking really good for if they could really build off of it and make the right moves, they'll be in the playoffs in 2 years probably.
Yeah, well, Giants are just stuck in nowhere land.
But that's what happens with teams is you're not going to be good for extended periods of time. I mean, the Packers were like that for a little bit where they made the playoffs for multiple years in a row, and then they didn't really have great teams. Mike McCarthy was we realized that he was not that great of a coach when he doesn't have Greg Jennings, Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson to bail him out. Donald Driver, same thing. That was a stacked team in 2011. But when a couple of those guys got injured and they had to draft, he didn't make the right choices. And that offense really wasn't good under him.
No, he's a little overrated.
And even with the Cowboys, he was.
No, he's not that good. Kellen Moore is better than him.
Oh, 100%.
I like Kellen Moore.
But I don't even know why everybody thinks he's that great of a coach. I mean,
he just gets carried by his teams.
Yeah, that's the problem. And it looks great, he's really, tenured head coach with a lot of great experience. It looks like it on paper, but really, I mean, getting carried by a decent Cowboys team as much as everybody rags on him for being terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, that team was good. Dak had a great year coming back from, if it wasn't for Burrow having that insane year.
Yeah, then he would have come back player of the year.
And I think Dak might have deserved it a little bit more because he also went through a lot of things in his life too.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Dak Prescott fan, but I think he deserved it maybe a little bit more than Burrow. But it's really tough when you have two guys that get injured and they put up pretty good years.
Even Nick Bosa too had a good year on the defensive side.
Yeah.
He could have. It's funny because I was actually a really big Dak fan when he came out of college from Mississippi State, and then he got drafted by the Cowboys, and I was like, well, shit.
It was a good pick too.
No, yeah, definitely behind Romo.
Third round pick, sit behind Romo for a year or 2 years. Romo's on the way out, and then he comes in.
No, yeah, no one was expecting that. I don't even think they were expecting him
not
to
at
turn
all.
into that.
Not at
So,
all.
yeah, now I can't really root for Dak, though, but at the same time, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But, speaking of coaches that are a tad overrated, back to the Bengals, I think that Zach Taylor is a tad overrated, and he does get carried by that team a little bit.
A little bit, but at the same time, like, I don't think he really, like last year, he didn't really have anything. Like, they didn't really have, like, great pieces. They were still building a little bit.
That's true. They did have,
Like,
Mixon was injured.
I mean, I guess you could
So-
arguably say that for anybody, really. With like, McVay, you could say that for, maybe, but I like, if you're trying to make that argument, you could say that about McVay.
Yeah, but he's been to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think McVay.
The last 5 years.
Yeah, I think McVay's a really good coach. Same thing with Matt LaFleur too. I think you could, if you're trying to make an argument where Taylor really isn't that great of a coach, I think you can make that argument for him too.
Yeah, when you have that quarterback behind,
Oh God.
you can't really. You could put anyone as the head coach, and you're gonna really do good.
What are your opinion on the Rodgers thing? What do you think he should do?
I think that he should stay in Green Bay. Honestly, I really think that he should, and I think they should run it back with Adams and Rodgers, and they got Dillon and they got Jones. You were talking about that two-headed monster in the backfield.
Well, yeah, and that's also, like, I mean, at one point it would be nice for them to bring back Rodgers, and it's really like the Packers are in a win-win situation. If he decides to leave,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we play Jordan Love for next year, see how he does. If we realize he sucks, because the verdict is still out on him, we have no idea how,
But me and you aren't really the biggest Jordan Love fans. We saw how he played against the Chiefs, and he looked lost.
That's tough, though, because that offense is built around Aaron Rodgers.
That's true.
For his play style. Aaron Rodgers, he's a pocket passer that's able to, scramble and maneuver really well. Jordan Love really isn't that. He can't move as well as Rodgers, I don't think, even though Rodgers is way older.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Love really, he can't scramble as well. He has pretty good arm strength. I don't know about his accuracy or whatnot, but, I mean, when a offense is built around one guy and then someone has to try to, for a whole entire game too, now you have to play the whole entire game in this offense that,
Isn't built around him, yeah.
And you have to do it for the whole entire game. It's, it's tough.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
I would rather him. It would be nice to see him, to see what we have in him, because then we could decide. Do we just not pick up his 4th-year option, or do we get rid of it?
Yeah, but I think that team. I think that team, like the 49ers, also are in the same situation where they have a really good team, and their weakness is the quarterback position, and I think they would benefit more with a veteran.
Oh, 100%, but the toughest thing is, and going back to the cap situation, is the Packers are screwed financially with the cap space. So to try to bring back Rodgers on a new contract, you could franchise tag Davante Adams, but at the same time, like, you franchise tag him, he could hold out. Which is, like, even if Rodgers is back, Davante Adams could say, screw this. I'm gonna just hold out because it's a risk. You play on the franchise tag and tear your ACL. Not a lot of teams are gonna give you that huge contract.
That's true. When you said that, I was thinking of Le'Veon Bell.
Exactly.
When he held out, and then what happened? He went to the Jets, got paid, went to the Jets, and he was absolute garbage.
But if he played under the tag, and let's say he had a season-ending injury, nobody's giving him the huge contract that the Jets gave him. So, and then after that, I mean, like, really the Packers, they were built, like, this year was supposed to be, like, the year, because, like, you have both the Smiths on the defense that, their contracts are huge. They're probably going to, just to free up some space, they're probably going to get rid of both of them.
Oh, wow.
Just because it's, it's a ton of money that, those two are wasting if you want to try to bring back Rodgers, Davante Adams. At this, Rasul Douglas was great as a cornerback.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you bring back MVS. I don't know.
I like him.
He's inconsistent. I mean, this year he was a lot better than what he was. I mean, like, last year was a mess. I remember he dropped that huge pass against the Colts. That was mess of a game.
Yeah, even who am I thinking of? Is it Alan Lazard? Who
yeah,
really had a big
and
difference from last year to this year?
Yeah, he's really good. He's big for a receiver. He's like 6'6", like 245 pounds.
Oh, wow.
But he runs like a deer. So it's like, you want that. You want someone like that. And I think he's a restricted free agent, so they have a little bit more to do with him. But I mean, there's a lot of guys where, the Packers just don't have receivers, and again, that goes back to the draft. Not drafting right, drafting too many players on the defense. They got the running backs right in the draft. I mean, we had Jones, Jamal Williams was good.
Oh, yeah,
then A.J. Dillon.
Left, yeah.
But paying Williams was actually not paying him was a smart idea.
No, that was good.
We had
A.J. Dillon.
Yeah, we had A.J. Dillon that was pretty good. So, but yeah, it's very interesting just the way things work.
No, yeah, and then you guys wasting that draft pick on Jordan Love.
Yeah.
When you guys could have taken really any other position.
Yeah.
And pissing off Rodgers.
Even a receiver, I mean, there's still really good receivers out there.
Yeah, I don't know who was still out there, but I know there was just a couple of wide receivers you guys could have taken. I don't remember that.
Jefferson might have been still out there. Because the Packers traded up, and I'm pretty sure that's the Vikings were like 2 picks after, and they took Jefferson.
Yeah,
which that would have been
Philly.
sick. Adams and Jefferson.
Oof.
That would have been
Adams and Jefferson, I don't think Rodgers would ever leave, and he would play for like another 5 to 7 years to play with them.
100% with the offensive line that they have, yeah. But then, yeah.
That's crazy. But I was actually rooting for the Packers in the playoffs, too, because I do like Aaron Rodgers, and I like how he's very controversial.
Yeah.
And I do like that he stands up for, like, what he thinks, even though it's not what the majority thinks. And the whole, like, immunized thing.
Well, yeah, and I think that's what's good about it. Like, for anybody, any of the players that speaks about, their beliefs, I mean, I think, that's their, their decision. That's, why, the country that we're in is so great is because, you're able to speak up on those things. And they have a platform that, not a lot of people have. Like, if I say that stuff, I have 15 followers on Twitter and 700 something followers on Instagram versus Aaron Rodgers probably has
Millions upon millions.
Yeah, probably has 1 million followers. Same thing with LeBron James. He has 1 million followers. He's able to use that voice, his voice. Like it or not, it's it's just what he's able to say. And I mean, it's a good thing for most of these guys, and I think a lot of them know it that it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a big weight. Yeah,
big responsibility. But it's, something that I think that a lot of those guys appreciate.
Yeah, and I know LeBron gets a lot of hate from the right, and Aaron Rodgers gets a lot of hate from the left, so...
Yeah, but, at the same time, no matter what you believe in, you gotta respect it that, they're willing to share their opinions. And, LeBron, I'm not a huge LeBron James fan.
No, I'm not either.
But, I respect him for using his voice, and reaching out to people,
Yeah, true. But back to Rodgers. I really wanted to see him do good. I really thought it was going to be Chiefs-Packers. I was, set on that.
I think everybody was set on that.
Yeah.
I think David, my roommate, I think that was his bet, was Chiefs-Packers. I think a lot of people were set on that.
No, yeah, and I didn't like the Titans coming out of the AFC. I thought they were too weak. I don't like Tannehill. I don't think he's good for that offense. They need a real good quarterback to pair up with Brown, A.J. Brown, and Julio, who only had 1 touchdown last week of the season, even though he was hurt this season.
I think Tannehill is, he had that really good year when, I think it was 2018 or 19.
Yeah, when Mariota went down.
Mariota got hurt, Tannehill stepped up, ended up taking the job from Mariota, and really played phenomenal. But, Derrick Henry is a huge part of that offense.
No, yeah, definitely.
Definitely carried them in the last 2 years, but, yeah, they're definitely looking for a quarterback. A lot of teams are looking for a quarterback.
Yeah, I don't even know if not the Dolphins, I'm thinking Tannehill. The Titans will move on from him. I think
it's very tough because
Mike Vrabel likes him.
he's slightly above average quarterback, and at that point, it's like, you know what?
There's
why
not a lot of guys out there
Like,
that
there's
they
not a lot of
can
guys out there that you could really move
upgrade.
on from. I mean, like, there was the whole like Rodgers. Why would you get into that? I mean, like, you obviously want him, but the amount of draft picks that you'd have to give up, you're basically banking on, oh, let's win a Super Bowl in the next 2 or 3 years, and then we're gonna suck for, 5 years. That's really what it is. Even like the Packers, same thing. If he stays with the Packers, it's gonna be like, let's try to win a Super Bowl in the next 2 to 3 years. Rodgers will be 42. He's probably gonna want out, and then at that point, the cap, the salary cap. At that point, it's like, we're just gonna then stink for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
Because you're just not gonna be able to sign good free agents, get really good players. You basically have to hit on the draft every single year.
Like the Bengals.
Yeah, exactly, like the Bengals, and that's a team too, like, that aren't great financially.
No.
Same thing with the Packers. The Packers have always been horrible financially because we don't have an owner. So.
But it's crazy with the Bengals.
Yeah.
They were 2-14. They draft Burrow, Chase, obviously other players rounds 2 through 7 that I don't know of, but them two.
Tyler Boyd too.
Yeah, Boyd, Higgins, Mixon, C.J. Uzama.
Yeah, I mean they have a good team. I mean, you hope that they could get back there. You hope that it's not like a one and done deal where Burrow is. I think he's here to stay. I think he's going to be a really good player. But you hope that they are able to keep that team sort of intact and try to build on it, versus having guys leave and then like they're gutted almost and they have to start all over again.
Yeah, well, I told you how I feel about Joe Burrow, how I thought it was going to be a 1-year thing. Because that AFC is really loaded. They got the Chiefs. The Bills are going to come for a vengeance. Even the Ravens with Lamar when he comes back from his injury.
Yeah, I don't know about Lamar, though. That's the problem. I mean,
No, I'm not a big Lamar person either. He doesn't have. I don't think he has the arm strength. He doesn't have the accuracy for that team to really get past a team like the Chiefs and the Bulls.
Their backup, though, Huntley, he did a pretty good job.
I really liked him. I think he's a free agent, maybe, possibly.
Pretty good. I went to the Packers Ravens game.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And
that was a good game. I wasn't
really
expecting that to be a good game.
It was funny. We were getting gas. We stopped in like Delaware to get gas, and behind us in the gas station was a Ravens fan, and he's like, "Oh, it looks like you guys have it." And I'm like, "Oh, what do you mean?" And he's like, "Oh, they just said because Lamar was like questionable."
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, they just said that Huntley's starting." And we're like, "Oh yeah," and then we got there, and it was a close game the whole entire time. It came down to a 1-point game.
That 2-point conversion, right?
Yeah,
That's just a terrible call.
Was just
terrible call.
I mean, trying to get it to Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
When he's basically triple covered.
Yeah.
It's like, really? But whatever, win is a win. But still, it's like, he played really well, and that was just him running and RPOs basically, play action.
But he also fits that offense because he's the same as Lamar.
Oh, he's
so it was really just
Lamar.
Plug him right in.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I thought he was pretty good though.
No, yeah, I was
they're
actually
not really screwed over. I mean, if they re-sign him and then Lamar ends up, because Lamar's been injured, banged up for the past couple of years, right after that MVP season, he's been banged up ever since. They might just say, hey, listen, I mean, I'm sure a lot of teams would take Lamar Jackson.
No, that's true. I was advocating for them to trade for Huntley, the Giants, or sign him or whatever. I really like him, but the Giants won't because, first of all, the Giants don't do anything, and second of all, they don't have a system like that. They're very their quarterbacks are very pocket passers.
Although I'm glad that the Giants decided to move on from Joe Judge. I thought he was an absolute joke.
I actually thought that they should have kept him for this season, and then he made that stupid interview after the game, and he said whatever. Know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, well.
And then that's when he just lost me, and I was like, dude.
Just that. It was week 17. I think it was the last week 18. Where,
the QB sneak on 3rd and 9. No, after that I was like, no, come on,
and,
what?
They showed the announcers had no answer for it. They showed this Giants fan on there, and I'm like, yeah, that's how every Giants fan feels. And he's like screaming his head off, like, come on, what the hell are you doing? Like, at least like run like a legit play versus having, you know, three guys in the backfield, you know, having your QB take it up the gut. You have Mike Glennon and Jake Fromm trading places at quarterback. It's
Just
like,
ridiculous.
we're going to have Glennon start the first half and then Fromm come in. Like, he said that, like, during the games, too. Like, before the games. Like, it wasn't planned. Or he's like, oh, yeah, you know, we're going to go with Glennon and then, you know, we're going to go with Fromm. And then the next week later, he's like, oh, we're going to go with Fromm and then we're going to go with Glennon. Like,
It just doesn't make any sense.
Like,
He just had no
yeah,
idea.
And he seemed like a pretty confident guy at first. Like his like locker room speeches.
Yeah, like I liked his opening in
like, he
press
seemed-
conference. I really liked
Like,
that,
he seemed
but
like a super positive guy, and I was like, oh, this guy, you know, pretty decent. But then after that, I was like, yeah, this dude's done.
no, it was just terrible. But when I first saw that they hired him, I was so mad because I was like, we're hiring a special teams coach to try and fix the New York Giants. Yes, there has been special teams coaches that have worked out, like John Harbaugh with the Ravens, but besides that, like,
I mean,
just
it's very, very uncommon.
yeah, and they needed an offensive-minded coach, especially with Daniel Jones, and they gave him a special teams coach, basically, to try and fix an offense, and it was just a mess. But now the Giants moved on from him, thank the Lord, and they went with a really good offensive-minded guy, Brian Daboll, from the Bills. I was really, really happy with that. I was kind of leaning towards Brian Flores, who just got signed today. Did you see that with the Steelers?
Oh, really?
Yeah, for I think he's their secondary coach, which is a big downgrade for me. And the head coach in the Dolphins to a secondary coach.
And I don't know why the Dolphins decided. And I think there was a falling out with Tua and Brian Flores, but still.
No, definitely. I was completely mind-boggled.
I don't think Tua's that good. It's not like Tua's like this ultimate franchise quarterback. I think Tua, you know, he's kind of like inconsistent. Like,
No, he is. He doesn't have the arm strength, but they picked the quarterback over the coach, and they should have picked the better coach over the quarterback. It just didn't make any sense.
Yeah. I think Flores. The fact that he got fired from Miami was ridiculous.
No.
I'm glad that he is, you know, somewhere, you know, that was, you know, big talk was, you know, him getting fired and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, he's a good coach, so.
Yeah, but it shows that the Dolphins really
are incompetent. Yes.
That the owners and the managers and everybody really like Tua, for them to pick Tua over Flores, who
they must see.
Yeah, that's true. They must see.
I don't think he's
something that we don't.
I don't think he stinks. I just don't think he's that great.
No, he's not.
Like, he's an average quarterback. You know, is he like he might be a slight? He's like, you know, around like maybe like around the same or maybe even slightly above Sam Darnold. Like, you know, but I don't think he's like insanely good.
No, it doesn't make any sense. I think that they should have kept Flores, and then Flores should have pushed, which I know he did, to trade for Deshaun Watson.
Yes, and
that would have been really good. Put Watson with those weapons, and the defense stepped up this year. That would have been good. But instead, new head coach with Mike, what's his name? Mike McDaniel? Yes. Mike McDaniels, I think, from the 49ers. I was like, okay. I think it was a downgrade from Flores, but
100%. But, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
And then I thought that Flores was going to go to the Texans. I thought that's where he was going to end up.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is with the Texans, I mean, they have Deshaun Watson, which I don't know if he's going to play for them.
Yeah, he's probably not, but I think they should have signed Flores so that it would have got him to play, because I think that he knew that Flores was advocating for him to Miami.
The Texans just don't have anything, basically.
That's true.
And, like, even if you have, like, it's great that you have Deshaun Watson, but at the same time, it's like, they have, like, nothing, like, around him.
And they have Brandon Cooks. Do they? Wait, he's there, right?
Yeah, he's there, but it's still, like, you know...
That's it. I can't even name another player.
You can't rely on two guys to carry the team.
No.
Like, you need good, you know, you have to be good three phases of the ball. You know, offense, defense, special teams. You have to be good all around.
Yeah.
To get the job done, and if one of those are not, you know, good, you're screwed.
Yeah, they're just not good with any.
Yeah.
And then they went with Lovie Smith, which I thought was just so terrible.
Yeah.
Defensive-minded coach, former coach of the Bucks and the Bears. I didn't even know he was still in the NFL. He's been in the league for such a long time, and they went with Lovie Smith to try and fix that offense. Just shows how incompetent and that they have no idea what they're doing. Another team that's just completely clueless, just like my Giants, just terrible.
Yeah, although
They're a little better than the Texans and Dolphins, though, but still
the Giants,
bad.
yeah, but they're still pretty. They're still pretty bad.
Yeah, so back to the playoffs. That's where we were starting from, and then we went to the Texans. But so yeah, your Packers eliminated by the 49ers after really that blocked punt. That's what.
Yeah, and that's, again, going back to what we said about the Texans, and really any team like the Giants, like any team, you have to be good three phases of the ball. Packers' defense was pretty good this year. We got a lot of pieces back for the playoffs. But, the offense was obviously phenomenal. You have, Rodgers, Adams having a great year. A lot of guys stepping up. You have Aaron Jones that had a pretty good year. He got hurt. He came back. It was great. He's not just a, good running back. He's great out of the backfield, able to catch passes,
Yeah.
A.J. Dillon had a great year. But that special teams was horrible the whole entire year. And any Packers fan that, would say that, the Achilles heel of that team was the special teams, was when it seemed like every single, time they kicked the ball off after a touchdown, I think the Bears, their punt returner, their punt and kick returner ran.
What's his name? I don't remember his name.
Mooney, maybe? Mm-hmm. He ran, 2 touchdowns back.
Mm-hmm.
And when he didn't run a touchdown back, he would take it out of the end zone, and the ball would be, at the 45-yard line. So the special teams was horrible the whole entire year, but it really came down to that. It was a blocked punt, and it was unfortunate, but, the next day, special teams coordinator loses his job, so.
Yeah, but and then you guys signed Rick Bisaccia, the former coach of the Raiders, to be your special teams coach, I believe, right?
Yeah, which is probably an upgrade from whoever the hell we had.
Yeah, but I thought the Raiders should not have gotten rid of him, Bisaccia. I liked what he did. He wasn't the best, but I liked what he did. And I think giving Josh McDaniels another shot as a head coach was stupid.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
He's proved that he can't be a head coach. Just like Steve Spagnuolo, former Giant defensive coordinator, interim head coach. He was terrible as a head coach, but now look at him as a Chiefs defensive coordinator, and he really can rile up those guys. But, yeah, so you guys got Bisaccia.
Todd Bowles was the same way with the Jets. Todd Bowles.
That's true. He's a terrible head coach, but great defensive coordinator.
He might get a head coach. He could possibly get a head coaching
No,
job.
definitely, because of how good that defense is. I knew that the Giants interviewed him, and I was just like, no, not again.
Yeah.
Don't bring it back to New York.
Yeah, New York would not be a good spot for him. He just needs to go somewhere else, It's the same stadium, same, no.
Some people just choke under the bright lights.
It's not even, it's just, I think it would just bring back, for him, just, memories that he probably doesn't want to have because, it's some pretty bad years there. But,
yeah.
I think he was better than Adam Gase. I don't know why they decided to go from Todd Bowles to Adam Gase, but, Todd Bowles comes down to Tampa, and he's, he was always a defensive-minded guy.
Mm-hmm.
Really good defensive coordinator. Is probably going to get a head coaching job, if not stay, with Tampa, and it's working down there for him. So.
No, definitely. So yeah, Packers sadly eliminated. Then, let's back it up. First round was the Raiders and the Bengals.
Yeah.
Bengals moved on. I was happy with that. I wanted the Bengals to win.
That was a close game, too. There was that controversial call with the whistle early, where they blew the whistle, but then they ruled it a touchdown still. But that was another close game, and that Raiders team was pretty good.
Yeah, especially all the things that they went through.
They went through
a lot of things. Players in jail, multiple players in jail getting arrested. 158 miles. Was it 58? 73? I don't know, some ridiculous number. Henry Ruggs, whatever,
And
how fast he was
that's
going.
such an unfortunate situation because, and it's like, it's the same thing, like, the NFL, the players union, and it's such a shame, you feel bad for everybody in that situation, the family of the person who lost their life, they don't deserve that, and same thing with Henry Ruggs, I mean, like, just horrible judgment, the NFL Players Association has, like, a contract with Uber where they get, like, free Ubers, these guys.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. And it's the Players Association.
Mm-hmm.
And where they get free ride share and stuff like that, where they could, if they're at a club, and that's why the NFL does it, which is a great.
No, that's smart. I didn't even know that's
crazy. It's great for anybody. Listen, you have too much, you got to make that decision. I don't care how young you are. Hey, I can't. I'll just leave my car here. I'll bring my keys with me. I'll get in this Uber. I'll go home. Sleep. Tomorrow morning, have someone pick me up, drop me off at my car, or Uber back to my car, pick my car up, drive it home.
Yeah,
like, it's that easy. Is it a pain? Yes, it's that easy.
Just not worth it.
It's just not worth it, and unfortunately for him and his family, I mean, he has to live with consequences now.
Yeah, and even just
and it's really his family. I mean, like, he made that decision himself, and he's probably regretting it for the rest. He's gonna regret it for the rest of his life. But he could spend up to like 4 years in jail.
Yeah, and then he's done.
Like, he's obviously done with football. But it's not even that. It's his family. They have to deal with that. So.
Yeah, even just like NFL wise, he had so much untapped potential. He was a stud in Bama.
Just one stupid decision and he threw it away. But the Raiders had to go through a lot this year.
Especially John Gruden too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough situation with that. They went through a lot, but they were able to put together a pretty good team. I think whoever won that game, whether it ended up being the Bengals, but even the Raiders. I mean, I think the Raiders probably would have had a good shot against the Titans.
Yeah, I was very low on the Titans, so I feel like anyone could have.
I don't think we're a great team.
No, and I heard they're trying to re-sign their quarterback, Derek Carr. Did you see the report that he might get $40 million a year?
No, I did not.
I saw that, and I was like, they might give him $40 million, and I could probably name the amount of quarterbacks on my hand that deserve $40 million. He's not one of them.
Yeah, but he's certainly a good quarterback. I mean, if I'm NFL owner, I'm not giving him $40 million a year.
No,
no. I'm not. That's a lot of money. I don't know how he's worth that. Different sport, but baseball apparently the Washington Nationals with Juan Soto.
Mhm.
Before the lockout,
he declined. Yeah,
he declined a 13-year, $350 million deal.
Okay, but I honestly looked at it though, and I was like, okay, 250 divided by 13, and I was like, he does deserve more than that.
Why? What is it?
It's like 26.
Oh, come on, dude.
But I think Trout's getting 37 this year, something ridiculous. Or even flip it back to football, Mahomes, he's getting 500. I know he's not getting 500 million. There's like incentives and like all these other things that go into it. It's not just straight.
That's 26.
It's 26, right?
That's basically $27 million a year.
I think that he deserves more than that. I think he deserves 30, 33. I could honestly see him getting 500 million.
No way, dude.
Or 450.
Nah.
What's 450 divided by 13?
That's $34 million a year.
Okay, so yeah. Then
no
that.
Way.
450 for 13.
And that's the problem with this is, these guys are getting huge contracts, especially in baseball, the way they're screwing things.
And they don't finish them.
Yeah,
or they do, but just at the end, and they don't. Just like terrible, like Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah.
Who's playing out that horrible contract, and he's hitting 14 home runs a year.
You're really going to give you're willing to give somebody $400 million for 13 years.
Well, I wouldn't. I'm not the Nationals, but I'm just saying, like, they're going to, though. If they're not going to, someone will. Someone will.
I don't really see the point in that either, because...
No, I don't, but...
Especially, like, Juan Soto, he's a great player, but, like... I mean, I don't think he's really, like, is he really going to play that well 13 years down the line?
No way. He's like long contracts like Lindor, Manny Machado, Tatis, Stanton. They don't work out. Even A-Rod didn't work out.
I'm hoping to get, Lindor, he was off to a slow start in the first half of the year. Ended up getting injured, which actually helped him because he came back second half of the year, played really well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to get at least, that was, a 10-year deal? I'm hoping to at least get, maybe, 5 to 7 good years.
No, yeah, totally. That's what I was going to say.
And then, maybe the last, 3, or last 2 or 3, he moves to, he's not going to be able to play shortstop, I don't think. Maybe he moves to second base. We get, a really good young shortstop, and then, he's still able to sort of play.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it's still a lot of money, so.
Yeah, but dudes are going to get, I could see it, Judge, going to get a huge contract. Soto is going to get a huge contract.
Judge could go to my Mets if he declines that.
No.
How sick would that be?
I think I would have to, I don't even know what I would do.
Marte, Nimmo, and Judge in the outfield.
I thought you were going to say Soto, too. You Met fans thinking you're going to get Soto, too. My friends were saying, oh, yeah, we're going to get Soto. I'm like, no way.
To be quite honest, though, Nimmo is a really good player. I think he's super underrated. He gets on base a ton, and he gets a ton of hits, which is so uncommon nowadays where these players are just trying to hit a ton of home runs for a low average. So it's
Judge.
What?
Like Judge and Stanton.
Exactly. So you only need, a couple of you only really need, 1 or 2 of those guys. Alonso and Judge, it's going to be, if the Mets are able to swing that, Alonso, Judge, you have, Lindor trying to get, he gets a lot of hits, gets on base, same with Nimmo, so that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, even Correa's going to get a big contract.
Correa's going to get a huge contract.
Corey Seager just did Trevor Story.
Which I think,
it's not going to get as big, but still a big contract.
Story is going to be tough because, Colorado,
the altitude and what it does to the baseball.
The thing is, Arenado was always a way better hitter than him. Story, it's is he really that good outside the course field? No. So that's
but
tough.
yeah, Arenado really was good.
Story is going to get the money.
Oh yeah, someone's going to give it, and it's probably going to be the Yankees too. It's probably going to be us.
It's going to stink, but they need a shortstop.
No, they really do.
Playing Gleyber at shortstop really is not a.
No.
That's just not a good move.
No, I think it's definite that he's starting shortstop this season, second baseman this season. I think that it's a given. They're going to sign Correa, Story, or just frickin' Alderton Simmons. Just as
You just need somebody at shortstop.
Yeah.
This Gleyber is just not a shortstop anymore. They moved him. He came up a shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
They
moved him to second base because of Didi, and then
he didn't play with Didi. Didi never got hurt really. I think he had that 1 year that he got hurt, but they called somebody else up to play shortstop, and Gleyber was still at second.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Gleyber did not play any shortstop for 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm. And then he tried to come back.
Who played and still plays both shortstop and second base, huge difference. And especially if you're playing second base for 2 or 3 years and you have to move to shortstop, it's like the other side of the moon. It's really tough. A lot more moving. I mean, that throw is insane.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get rid of it a lot faster. And, it really shows because Gleyber is one of the worst defensive shortstops there is.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. They're going to have to do something about that, definitely.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that they sign Correa.
First off, I'm just hoping that they're able to agree on this collective bargaining.
Oh, yeah, let's not,
Apparently they're having meetings every day next week, which I don't know. Did you see that?
I saw that, yeah. After the 15-minute meeting. We've had a more long of this podcast. 40, almost 50 minutes.
Jeez. and they only met for 15 minutes, dude. So, I don't know. I think Manfred is probably the worst commissioner in all of sports.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, there's just no debating it. I mean, Goodell's pretty bad, too.
Goodell's pretty bad.
But I think Goodell is way better than Manfred. I mean, I think Manfred just really hates baseball because...
He's just so bad.
I mean, the rules that he's put in is insane.
No, yeah, terrible. But back to our a big contract back to Mahomes. So yeah, Chiefs. He signed a massive deal. Do you know how many years it was? Do you remember? I know it was $500 million. I just don't remember how many years it was.
10 years.
So yeah, something ridiculous.
I mean, how old is Mahomes? 25? 26?
Maybe something like that. But
You see what Brady, you see what Rodgers, you have a good offensive line around those guys.
and they just gave him the good offensive line, which is good after he got absolutely slaughtered in the Super Bowl against Todd Bowles' defense.
So he's 26. I think it's a 10-year deal. He signed.
So is it? Does it even kick in? Did it even kick in last year, or might it just kicked in this year?
Kicked in last year.
Oh, it did. Okay. So 10 years.
Yeah. So 2032, he's a free agent.
That's insane.
Yes, but and he'll be so he'll be 37 years old as a free agent. Rodgers is, I think, 37 now or 38.
Wow. So Mahomes will sign this. He signed this contract, and he'll probably get an extension too.
Yeah.
At like 33, 34. He'll add 2 more years onto it.
Rodgers is 38. Rodgers is probably going to play another 2 years. So that'll put him at like 41, 42.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Mahomes. It's like 37 when that contract comes up. They give him like a 4-year deal. He'll be 41 years old. Yeah, I mean, that's even if he is able to play like how Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah, the
has
guys
played
like
him,
that.
even though he's only won 1 Super Bowl. But, he's, I mean, arguably the best quarterback in the league.
No, yeah, I don't. I think we were talking about this the other day. Rodgers is 1. And then I think Josh Allen and Mahomes are interchangeable at 2. I really like Josh Allen. He did really good year 2. Not as good this year, but
I give the step up to Mahomes just because Mahomes is able. I think Mahomes is able to. I think he's a lot more like. I think his skill set is just a little bit better than Josh Allen.
yeah, he just had more experience with the
Just
2 Super Bowls.
He kind of like reminds me of how Rodgers plays, so I would say Mahomes is a little bit better. But I mean, Josh Allen has showed that he's really good, especially being under. I think he went to junior college too, and then he went to Wyoming.
Yeah, like not even a big school.
Not even a huge. Yeah, so really good player. Fun watching that Bills team is pretty good. So.
No, yeah, definitely. And then, so if we talked about Bengals, Raiders, Rams, Cardinals was the first round.
Yeah, which
that was
the Kyler Murray thing.
Yeah, now he might be moving on.
Might be a change in sports, maybe.
I didn't even think about that. That's interesting.
It could happen.
I was just thinking he was going to get traded. Imagine he got traded to the Giants. I honestly wouldn't even like that. I'm not a big Kyler Murray person, but that's real interesting.
Which would be crazy.
He plays shortstop or second? What does he play?
Maybe outfield.
Oh, really? Oh, that would make sense. He is a quarterback, but...
I mean, same thing with, shortstop.
Oh, yeah, you do need the arm.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers plays quarterback like he's a shortstop, basically. Some of the... same thing with Mahomes. They make...
These throws, crazy throws.
Yeah, I mean, but that would be really, really interesting.
That's interesting if he plays for, the Oakland A's.
Yeah. Which, I mean, and that was a big, I remember that draft, that NFL draft, that was a huge, where will he go and stuff like that. And everyone at the time was saying, football, even though he's undersized as a quarterback, at least you're getting that money, baseball, it's tough, going through the minor leagues, you're not making that much at first.
No.
I think Murray had that opportunity with football where he gets drafted number 1 overall. It's like you have that big contract, huge money. It's a guarantee versus the other thing where,
it's
undecided. You could be stuck in the minor leagues for, 8 years and, making, under $150K per season. So, yeah, I don't know.
So, yeah, they might be moving on from Kyler Murray after he deleted Cardinal-related things off his Instagram.
Yep.
So
Yeah, he was an outfielder at Oklahoma.
oh, interesting.
And he played both there all 4 years, all 2 years, I guess, or 4 years, however many years he put in there.
Mhm. But yeah, so that game was a blowout. I'm very happy that the Rams won. And then round 2, we talked about Titans Bengals, and then the Rams and the Bucks. Was that round 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Bucks game was also insane.
That was a good game. Rams went down the field. Stafford to Kupp, big play, set up Matt Gay for a game-winning field goal. Matt Stafford, I think it was 42. He has 42 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter in the last, how many X amount of seasons, and it's just ridiculous. He's just so great in clutch situations, which is very hard to get a quarterback like that. Like Rodgers, like Brady, like Mahomes, like Allen. Dudes like that, just crazy. So yeah, Rams beat the Bucks, and then it was Rams 49ers, which should have been Rams Packers, but Rams 49ers, and then that was a walk-off field goal. No, it wasn't. Was it? Oh no. I think Matt Gay hit the field goal. Garoppolo got the ball back for a chance to drive down, and then an interception by, I think it was Eric Weddle, who came out of retirement the month before to sign with the Rams.
Which I think he took it was 2 years since he last played. So yeah, I mean, that was huge, And I think he got hurt too, like his shoulder.
No, yeah, and did you see the picture of the bruises? I think it was a torn pec, maybe?
Maybe. Or probably a torn bicep, if anything, but those bruises, that's not from the torn bicep. That was just, you get hit. Like, I had one of those, my junior year playing football, making a tackle, my bicep was just all red in it. The day after, it was just this, red line that was, here.
That's crazy.
So it's just from, I guess, maybe somebody's face mask, making a tackle, but, you get around their face mask, and then you pull them down, and then their head face mask just lands right on your arm, and it's just no good. But, especially, him being, smaller, and I think he's up there in age.
Oh, no, yeah, definitely. I think he's, probably, 38, 39, maybe.
Yeah, 37.
Oh, 37, okay.
Yeah, he's... For him to do that with his big move, but, again, that was a lot of... I think there was, I think when the Saints, when they were having their quarterback issues this year, Drew Brees almost... they called Drew Brees to try to lure him out of retirement. Same thing with Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, I was going to say that, yeah.
It's definitely... Gronk, same thing. He came out of retirement, although for different reasons. It's just not...
To play with his boy Brady.
Well, it was also to get out of trade with... Because the...
Oh, he's going to go to the Lions, yeah.
Yeah, they were about to trade him to the Lions. Which makes sense. I mean, I would have probably done the same thing. Sit out a year, worked out, and then, sign a new contract. That makes perfect sense.
No, yeah, that was a great decision.
So...
But yeah, so Rams, the Bengals in the Super Bowl, we watched it in the common room, and
definitely one of the better Super Bowls.
It's very good.
At least it wasn't like last year's and I was happy that Brady won it, but
I was sad that Mahomes lost, but yeah.
I'm more of a Brady fan than I am a Mahomes fan, so it was nice that he was able to go there and win one, and then this year obviously he got cut short, but it's nice to see different people win it, like Stafford, who doesn't have a ring, who didn't have a ring up until this year, so yeah, same thing. And then
so yeah, anyway, it was just a really good game, and I wasn't expecting it to be that good. I wanted the Rams to win. I feel like everybody wanted the Bengals to win. Everyone I was talking to, Bengals. I didn't talk to one person that wanted the Rams to win.
I think just because, Joe Burrow, I think, it was kind of like Tim Tebow almost, or, kind of
everyone's behind him.
Yeah, but at the same, not comparing, I don't think
the
Joe
skill
Burrow
set
is going to be a one-year wonder. I think just the whole, I think social media really carried, Burrow's popularity this year.
Oh, no, definitely. With the whole Joe Shiesty and the whole Joe Burr and his outfits.
Sunglasses, the TikTok dances in the locker room, smoking the cigar, like, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And
Even like, and also like he had a lot of media attention like from when he was at like that year that he had at LSU.
No, that was
insane.
crazy.
But like, I mean, just there's like the same stuff where they have a slow motion video of him on ESPN smoking a cigar like this. It's like, that's just how.
No, yeah, but that game came very close, like to the wire. After Cooper Kupp scored that touchdown, you saw I was like so excited. I was like, let's go. Rams have a great chance. And usually when a team gets the ball back, like the Bengals did, I was like, they're going to drive down the field and win this damn football game. But that defense that they have with Leonard Floyd, with Von Miller, Ramsey was getting cooked that whole game.
If he had time, I think Jamar Chase was open. Like they showed.
Oh no, he did, yeah.
If he had time. So if he had any type of an offensive line, like give him any team's offensive line, basically. Like maybe
Who said the Giants?
Maybe like 3 exceptions. Any other offensive line in the league, even his offensive line before they had the 2 injuries, he probably would have made that throw.
Probably, definitely. And a part of me was like,
you can't base it off hypotheticals.
No,
they weren't able to give him the time, and because of it, he tried to make a throw, which I think the running back out of the backfield, like.
Yeah, I think it was P. Ryan, maybe.
I mean, like, he didn't even dive to try to catch that ball.
No, but also I was looking at I know what you're talking about. I was looking at the comments, and we also don't know how far that ball actually was. Like, it could look, because you're also looking from behind him. That ball could have been like 7 yards.
Another video.
Oh, you saw it from the other angle?
It was maybe like 3 feet.
I don't know.
And at that point, it's like, you dive for it.
It just shows how much you wanted them. You didn't want it that badly.
Yeah, no, not even that. Like, anybody that has played any type of sports knows that, like, if it's that close, like baseball, same thing, like, you dive.
No, dive for the ball when it's, like, the first quarter, first inning, whatever it is. Just don't try and make the play, but when you're trying to...
Late in the game.
First of all, not even...
Late in the game.
Yeah, late in the game. Late in, like, a regular season game, you dive for the ball, but it's the damn Super Bowl when you're trying to win a championship. Throw your whole body on the damn floor.
But, I know.
But whatever, I'm not complaining, though. I wanted the Rams to win, so when I saw that ball hit the ground, it's like, thank you.
I was really indifferent in that game. Like, I would have preferred the Bengals, but, I also wanted a close game. I didn't want a blowout. You don't want to see a blowout in a championship game. It's just not...
Ruins it.
Horrible way to end the year when there's, huge blowout like there was last year in Tampa where it was, it's like, is this game ever going to end?
I didn't even watch the end of it. I didn't finish it. I usually finish the Super Bowl to the end. I didn't even watch it. I watched the championship trophy presentation. I didn't even watch it. But... yeah, so that was really it. Rams are the champs now going into next season. I think it's going to be big. It's going to be hard for them to repeat. It's very hard to repeat in any sport. Even the Warriors, the 73-9 Warriors didn't even...
Yeah, they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's... I mean, that's like, with Rodgers, you could have made the same thing. Like, that team, 2011 was stacked.
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't they repeat? But they had, so many issues, freak injuries. You get back to the playoffs multiple times, so you can't just get over that hurdle. It's really tough. Like, you've probably seen them, the Hard Knocks, like, like even watching like the Jets, after they got from the AFC Championship. They did one the year after the Jets won the AFC. They got to the AFC Championship and lost. Where, they come in preseason, the camera crew and stuff like that, and it's like you have like Rex Ryan and all
Sanchez.
of them, and Woody Johnson, but you have them like making like the decisions, seeing like the front office and stuff, trying to make the decisions and stuff like that, and it's like this was a Super Bowl team, and they're trying to fill out like 12 roster spots because, guys left. Darrelle Revis that year had a holdout. I remember that was a huge deal in, following New York sports. It was a huge deal when he was holding out. And, like, that team, it was like, everybody thought, Sanchez had a really good first year. they're gonna be good for a while, and they folded. But it just those videos, the Hard Knocks, it just shows how hard it is for these teams to, sort of bring back the same team.
No, definitely. It's going to be hard for the Rams. They got a lot of decisions to make. Obviously, Aaron Donald might retire. There's rumors of that. I don't think he's going to.
I don't think he is.
There's rumors of Sean McVay going to the broadcast booth, which I thought was BS anyway. I didn't think he was going to leave.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
And you know what? And then there was a report that he might want to just retire just to, be with his family and stuff like that, And
Yes,
I could see that too. Like, you also have to remember, like, Gruden and, no, not Gruden. John Madden.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was a really good coach. He retired when he was in his 40s. Like, he retired early.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was like, oh, what the hell? And, like, he took a little bit of a break and then started broadcasting. So that could be another, thing with McVay where he's a great coach, makes it to the playoffs multiple times, wins a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I just think he's just so... I think he might have contemplated it before, but then once you actually win and you're the best, and it's just like a different feeling, and you just want to just run it back. You just want to do it again. And I think that's what he's going to want to do.
Yeah, and I mean, he's a great coach, and I hope he'd come back. It just makes it that much better because then it's like someone else has to fill that role, and then it's like they bring back most of the same guys, and that team isn't that team isn't the same. It really, I want him back just so they're good again.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, the LA Rams are NFL champions. But before we wrap it up here, we do have a special message from Dollar Shave Club. Join the millions already in the club. Why join the club? You get top shelf products. Full product line only on DollarShave.com. Made with premium ingredients. Mix and match to find your perfect routine. And you're always in control. Flexible delivery dates. No hidden fees. 30-day money-back guarantees. Club pros to answer your questions. And you can cancel online anytime. All perks, no fees, exclusive savings on DollarShaveClub.com. So that's our message from Dollar Shave Club. Make sure to go check them out. And that is the first episode of Sports Talk. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.